back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today in this video, dogs, we're going to be talking about the latest thread from kwon. So this is the latest partnership with my boys over at Frax. You know, all roads lead to Frax, baby. But dude, first, before we get into this, I want to say thanks to ThorSwap, baby. Look at this. Boom Pat, what the snap. Dude, it delivered. Watch this. Oh yeah, boys. Dude, it's like 99 degrees out. I'm sweating. It's sweat box. Alright, anyways, let's go and get into this video. So, we have the introduction of the 4-pool. So if you guys don't, man, dude, this is a toasty sweater. This is really toasty. Anyways, we have the 4-pool. So what is the 4-pool? So the 4-pool is a mix of USDT, USDC, Frax, and UST. Notice how there is no DAI stablecoin. Now, you need to understand why kwon is picking Frax. Yes, I understand it's a stablecoin, but if you go back in history with Frax Finance and all that they did and their algo stablecoin, you need to ask yourself, why the snap is kwon wanting to partner with Frax? I mean, what's the alternative motive? I mean, there's another motive here. Let's go ahead and check out these shares of Convex. So these are the different DAOs that own the Convex token. You can see here that Frax owns 16.8%, whereas Terra, they own 13.1%. So in total, that is about, let's just call it 30% of the CVX token supply. Now, Curve, if you guys don't know, Curve has billions. We're talking like billions of dollars in liquidity. You guys can see all the different pools they have right here in their TVL. So you guys can see here, like this one right here, $5 billion, a couple million, another billion in the Wormhole UST 3 pool, $1 billion in MIM. I mean, like, let's just throw a couple $1 billion here and there. You guys can go on the main page on Curve and you guys can see like their total TVL. You guys can also go on DeFi Llama, but we're not going to get into that. The TLDR is Curve is a behemoth. They control a lot of money. Now, who controls these flows? Well, it's the Curve token holders. What protocol is the largest holder of the Curve token? Oh, it loads for me now. What the snap? As you guys can see, look, Frax is... How are they able to control $2.8 billion of liquidity when their stinking coin is only worth $1.7 billion? It's because they were early. They accumulated a lot of CVX. That's why they are able to vote, and that's why they're the behemoth that they are. You can see their allocations here as well. You can see Frax, the proposed future weights, they're going to control 20% of where what goes. UST is going to own or do 13%. And this is important to understand. Frax is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger than every single other holder. Why is that? If I own 20% of a certain token and I'm staking in that pool to earn more of that token, and some Johnny Freddy over there owns 10%, I'm growing at a 2 times faster rate than him. But wait, I'm compounding that. So compounding that each and every day, I'm actually going to grow at an exponential rate compared to Johnny Freddy. And he can't buy his way in. I mean, it'll take billions, and it's not worth it. And it would take a lot of money to do that, and it's not worth it. So if you can't beat him, what do? You join him. So with this in mind, being able to understand the Curve tokenomics and who holds most of the Curve and Convex supply, Convex is basically the main driver for all of these tokens. You need to understand the power of this partnership. When I go to Curve, the reason why I deposit into a certain pool is because it pays the best rewards. If it pays the best rewards, I'm depositing into that pool. If it pays poo-poo rewards, well, I'm moving along. To get better rewards, you need to direct liquidity. If UST or Terra is pairing with Frax and they're both saying, yeah, I'm going to vote for my pool. Yeah, I'm going to vote for my pool. It's splitting the rewards and diluting it between them. As you can see here, Wormhole has 3.69 to 9.22%, and we have 2.64 to 6.60% in the CRV token. They're both just about the same. Like, what in the world? We got to pick and choose. But what if they both get together and make a pool that beats all of them out because it has the best rewards? Well, that will then direct more liquidity their way, which will create more rewards, which will then attract more liquidity, because when more liquidity comes, this will attract more traders, and you have this reflexive flywheel that just keeps on spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and they're getting more curve and convex, and it gets just like nutty, because now they're earning at a exponential rate compared to all these other people. This is really, really important to grasp and understand. With the pool being able to capture most of the trades, most of the liquidity, this is going to beat out any of the other pools. As you can see, you have the DAI USDC and USDT pair that's right above them. Sure, the rewards are really, really low, but you guys can see they have a lot of deep liquidity right now. It's $3.3 billion. But if Terra and Frax team up, they can create a pool that's similar to that, and it will be spitting off much higher rewards. I didn't even get to finish. They're also partnering with Redacted. So how much does Redacted own? They own 11.1% of the CVX supply. So Redacted, Frax, and Terra. That's going to give them about 41% of the CVX supply, which controls most of the curve. Frax also owns some curve. As you guys can see here, their voting weight was about 20%. So we can just evenly call them a 20% weighting. There's also another tweet of Olympus Dow chiming in. Time will tell. We'll see what happens. But that can add another 6%. If we have all these DAOs teaming up and going into one pool, into this 4 pool, this will create demand for the UST because more people, and for Frax, because more people want to balance and participate in these pools. And you know what happens when you need to mint more Frax and UST. It says, boom, pap, what the snap. We juice the price of FXS and we juice the price of Luna because we burn Luna and we burn FXS. Now what happens to the price of DAI or the DAI token? Well, people swap out of DAI and people choose to go into other decentralized stablecoins. Yes, I do understand USDC and USDT are in that pool. But in order to boil water, it's got to get warm first, right? Well, unless you got some like jet fuel or something. I don't know. But anyways, this is going to create this reflexive flywheel that's going to cause this to keep spinning and spinning and basically be the black hole for people coming into Frax and UST. So as you guys can see here, this is the second tweet for Do Kwon. In the future, we will also direct emissions to other stablecoins that pair against the 4 pool, not just the 4 pool itself. So when they say pair against, all that means is like, let me show you guys one of the pools so you can see what I mean. You see 3 curve in UST. This is paired against the 3 curve pool. So what they're going to use it as a bootstrapping pool, because everyone pairs off the 3 curve pool, as you can see. Frax 3 curve, UST 3 curve, MEM 3 curve. Everyone just piggybacks off it. But if you make the USDC, USDT, Frax, and UST the 4 pool and have any other pairs pair up against them, this will create the backbone or the new backbone for most of the pairs to come through. Now when this happens, if you're having all of the pools paired with this one pool, that's going to have more trading fees going through it because it's always paired against it. So something else to keep in mind as well. And if we go back to Do Kwon's tweet, he says the goal is to starve the 3 pool. Shan't be long. It's for DAI. So he's trying to say bye-bye DAI. So time will tell. We'll see what happens, of course. Now what's also going to be interesting is Frax is going to be integrating with UST. So inside the AMOs of Frax, as you can see, the curve AMO, not a lot, but a good portion of this curve AMO that they have is actually some USDC and USDT, which are centralized stablecoins. But if you're able to introduce the UST stablecoin inside this, this is going to create more decentralization in a fractionalized stablecoin. The classic saying of all roads lead to Frax is so true in this scenario. Why is this? Well, why is Terra buying Bitcoin? Well, because it's adding collateral to the asset or backstopping. Wait. Oh, that's a fractionalized stablecoin. Oh. Oh yeah. Okay, that's what Frax. Okay, cool. It makes sense. Well, there's a reason for doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, you can't always have a system that is not backed by nothing. Why is that? Well, every time you have a government that just prints money into inflation or infinity, like the German mark, you know, back in, well, actually, you guys probably weren't around, and neither was I. But basically, it was printed into an oblivion. The classic story of you roll a wheelbarrow up to the bakery to go buy a bread. You dump a wheelbarrow full of cash. You dump the cash, give the wheelbarrow, and then you get your bread. And the cash is just trash. It's like, that's how useless this was. It's the same thing with the United States. Last year, we printed more than, it was either more than we've ever printed in history. Last year, we printed like trillions of dollars. It's like, what the snap, dude? How do you do that? Well, I know how you do it. You just go like that on the screen and it's done. That's it. It's so easy. That's the point. You can't have a model like this. This is why gold, they call it God's money, was always a stable store of value. For the most part of history, was that go-to source for that stable store of value, because everyone can look at gold and say, yeah, gold, oh, I get it. That's it. Okay, that sheep, that's 1 bar of gold. Or that suit, it's 1 ounce of gold. Like, that's how it's always been. You can buy a really, really nice suit for 1 ounce of gold now, just like you could have back then. It's the same junk, different day. The gold literally holds its value. Yes, it does. I know it sounds really, really dumb, but if you go back in history and compare the price of gold to what it is now and compare it to the price of what it was back then, you can roughly get that same amount. And that's what gold does. Both of these protocols have pros and cons. Like, for example, Frax Finance, their con to them was that, well, their pro is it's a fractionalized stablecoin, and it's held the peg the best out of all stablecoins for that reason as well. But the con is that it has some centralized stablecoins backing it, like USDC and USDT. That's not always a good thing. But on the flip side, you have UST, which the pro is a very decentralized stablecoin, which is really, really good. But the con is, well, it has no collateral backing it. So there's such a thing as a bank run. Sure, they create protocols around that to protect against that. Worst case scenario, if everyone was to try to withdraw their money, it would be impossible. There's no way to do it. There's not enough collateral backing it. That's what it means. It's a algo stablecoin. It has no backing, so there is no way to get out of it. It's going to have a bank run, but I'm just trying to explain it to you. There's pros and cons to each of these systems, so you guys can see and understand what's going on and the benefits of each, and why these two can commingle together and create a really, really interesting, and see how these guys can cooperate with each other and create a really good, create really good synergies. So I think this is going to be interesting what will happen. And the classic saying, all roads lead to Frax, definitely applies here. Even with Terra buying Bitcoin, that was classic of the adding collateral to the balance sheet, which is really healthy. It's a good thing. And with Frax, they have the fractionalized model. If you want to learn more about it, I made threads, I made a video, just check them out in the YouTube channel. But ADHD is starting to kick in. I'm losing focus off this topic. So TLDR, let's sum it up. UST and Frax, they're partnering together in order to take out DAI. In order to do that, they're using the power of CVX and Curve in order to direct liquidity to their pools. And they're going to do that by suffocating the DAI stablecoin with slippage and less liquidity incentives. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's hit you guys with that wisdom one-liner. Proverbs chapter 16, verses 21. The wise in heart are called discerning, and gracious words promote instruction. Wise, and you'll be discerning. That's good. And dudes, Sweatbox. This is a cool little shirt, man. Shout out to them Thorchads, man. This is like the sauce, man. This is a good shirt. Good shirt. Good coin. See ya. You guys can also catch me on tweeters at rent a home fast. Like literally at rent a home fast.